Now, I have a question for you. Why do you say that gender is not a disability? What does that mean?
First thing, we know disabilities.
Yes.
A disability is where you are deformed from. You are not full. You are not whole.
You're hindered. There is something about your physical body, or
let's say when you are a human being, you have 5 common sense. Okay, 5 common sense. They are working. You have legs. You have hands. You have a good body. You are not sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's at the base level. You are okay. You are a normal human being without any deformation.
Yes.
No defect. So there is no defect. So we only have that you are a man or a woman. So here, gender is not a disability because a gender is just, let's say, is a manifestation of either a masculine principle or a feminine principle. You know, a person has 2 principles inside, energies.
Yeah.
Feminine and masculine.
Yes.
But in this incarnation, we say it incarnation. You remember?
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah, in this incarnation, God has decided you will manifest as a woman.
Yes.
The feminine principle.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you will manifest as a man.
Yes.
Or, in this life.
Yeah.
So everyone has the 2 energies inside. But now God has decided that on the outside, will be
dominant.
Yeah, this one will be dominant.
Yeah.
So gender will not be a disability because we are all equal.
Yeah.
According to the species philosophy.
Yeah.
That says we are one material.
Yeah.
The same energy, the same consciousness. The only thing that changes is the manifestation. Like in this life you will manifest this, another life you will manifest this, depending on that, in that evolutionary scale of life. So gender cannot be a disability for anyone. Don't say, I'm a man, I cannot do this.
Okay.
I'm a woman, I cannot do this.
Okay.
No, we can do all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for people to stop fighting their genders, to stop feeling.
First thing, we should stop this thing of gender activism.
Okay.
Yeah, because gender is not a disability.
Okay.
That's the main point. Gender is not a disability.
So what do you understand, in your understanding, what is gender activism, so that we can now unpack?
Okay, gender activism is these campaigns for one gender. Like campaigns for women, campaigns for men. I'm seeing now we have come from women campaigns to men.
Yeah, they both exist.
Yeah. Right now there is men.
Yes.
There is one for men coming up.
Yes, it's coming up.
So fast.
True.
Yeah, campaigns for men.
Yes.
Masculinity, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, we were on the women for the last 10 years. Now we have come to men. So activism is that act of campaigning for a certain gender, that this gender should be doing this, they should act in a certain way, or they should get this. But it was good when we were doing the women campaigns, because at that time I think men were so rigid that they wanted to suppress women at that time. So that campaign was there. But now, since things have stabilized or it has balanced, we don't need gender activism anymore.
Has it balanced?
Yeah. Right now we have.
What do you call a balance?
A balance is.
Yeah.
Right now we have many women accessing all the sectors.
Many, or is it?
Many.
Do they have the same access? Many might be a good number, but if we're to look at this is something we always say here on Shivazations, when we want to talk about why, for example, do we have a show called Shivazations? Yes. Why do we think it's necessary?
Yes.
So I normally give this example, and I think it makes a lot of sense in my mind, that I am here, I was able to be educated, I have a journalism or communications degree, and my parents are from certain villages. So there's those girls that we graduated with, and those that were in other degrees. So those in my class, doing the same course, and then those in other courses, there were many.
Yes.
But now the most interesting thing is that for every one girl that graduated, there's 10 in the village who never even went to school because they are girls. So there's us that are privileged, and we are becoming many in the public eye. But now still in the scale of the world, or in the scale of
grassroots.
Kenya.
Grassroots.
Yes, and the scale of Kenya too. Hapa tu unaingia pale Gashie, utaenda kule Makongeni, Thika town, and then you realize women who really genuinely, you hear their stories, they were not allowed to go to school, they had to stay home and take care of children while they are older brothers. So you realize that maybe it's not as balanced as we like to see. It's just that we are seeing more women in these spaces. So that's why I ask you that question. Is it balanced?
I think
really?
that you see the solution to this.
Yes.
I gave it in the book Feminine Woman.
Okay.
That the solution to gender problems.
Yes.
Is to do value activism.
Okay, and what is that?
If we push for value activism,
right?
That number one, according to the species philosophy, that we are one material and we have equal access. That everyone has the potential. We will be able to equalize the gender problem. That let us look at the value of each person.
Yeah.
That you are a human being.
Yes.
Okay, what can you do for us?
Yes. Irregardless of your gender.
Yeah, we don't care who are you. Are you a woman or a man? It doesn't matter.
So that's you, Collins. Society cares. Society is still checking.
It is that programming we are talking about.
And in this programming, then it still becomes necessary to advocate within the lines of gender, because that's the society we are in. It's unfortunate because I understand what you're saying, but now it's like, expectations versus reality, because what you're describing is such a beautiful ideal. But sa ukienda hapa mashinani tu kidogo, you just drive a few kilometers, you realize that what you're saying does not make sense to somebody's father. They have 2 sons and 3 daughters, and there's only school fees for 2 children. That father will not check the value of the daughters and the sons. That father will check, this is a son, the son is valuable, the daughter not so much because she's going to leave. And that's how society is still measuring, and that's why I think in this society, those things are still valid. But moving forward, if society was to change and take up these principles, I think then what you're saying would be 100% true. But I beg to differ to say that I think it's still necessary, because society has not gotten away from the programming. We have not. We are so far.
It is our work as activists.
Okay.
Yeah.
To bring value activism.
Me and you.
Yes.
To bring that idea.
To create that awareness.
Yes.
How can we do that?
You see. You educate don't worry about the past.
Okay.
That one, the condition has already, even to you.
Yes.
It has already happened to you.
True.
Yeah. We look at the next parents that will come.
Yes, what can we do now?
People who are now 18 years.
Yes.
They are not married yet.
Yes.
If we educate these people and tell them, let us look at the value of each person. If we educate them, they will become better parents. They will come and say, okay, let us look at the value of our kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But this one that has already happened, that one you do grassroots activism.
Yes.
Slowly, changing the narrative there at the grassroots.
I hear that.
But we are looking at the future.
Right.
Because we are evolving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let bygones be bygones.
I know every system has a process of transition.
True.
Yeah. Every society, we have the programming.
Yeah.
But now we can reprogram the next society.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want a better life or a better future, we need to reprogram the next society.
Yeah.
By doing the activism on value.
On value activism as opposed to
you know the problem with gender activism is this. When we do the gender activism for women, the next time we will start now doing gender activism for men.
So we're not moving at the same pace.
We will be going in a
back and forth.
Vicious circle. You know vicious circle?
Yes, a vicious circle.
A vicious circle is something. You come from this problem and then you enter to another.
You continue coming
the opposite
back to
problem.
The same. Yeah, you do the work here and then this work comes and undoes this one. So it's almost like a competition.
Yes.
No, that makes sense because I do see that acting out, which is why I'm not a radical feminist.
Yes.
Because I understand that there's no point of when I say radical, I mean the ones who say men should be castrated. Men should. There's a lot that's said out here, and I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I just choose to go about it differently because there's no value for me to fight men whatsoever. It would work against me.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, that we are building and this other movement is undoing, and
And we come
They
back
are building,
again.
we are undoing.
Yeah, we come back again to the same thing.
To the beginning.
Yeah.
And we
So
never get anywhere.
if you are doing activism on,
Yes.
let's say for women,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you can go as you always choose a sector where to do your activism. You say maybe I will activate for women.
Right.
But when you are there, don't talk about women
Yes.
alone.
Yes.
Value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have conversations with Collins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about value.
Yes.
You can be a woman in where there are 3 men.
Right.
But if you don't have value, let's not put you there.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
you will bring another problem.
So you have a problem. Do you have a problem with the 2/3 gender rule?
A lot, actually.
Tell us about that. Please share.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think last year or when? Yeah, last year. I think I was in a certain show.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
a very big show.
Okay.
Where they were talking about the 2/3 gender rule.
Yes.
Like now we need to dismantle the parliament.
Okay.
Because we don't have the 2/3 gender rule.
Yes.
Yeah, and I deferred with them that
Okay.
we don't need this thing.
Okay.
Actually, it was very wrong for the constitution to put something like that
Okay.
in this stage that we are in this modernity that we have, that we need 2/3 gender rule for women. We can put 2/3 of women that are doing nothing, they have no value.
Yeah.
And what will happen is we will have women, okay, but now what is the value to the nation? What value?
So now, what solution would you give in that space when it comes to representation? Again, understanding that there are systems that have very intentionally kept women out without being pretentious about it. This traditional gender role systems, that we are coming from, very traditional, very discriminative. So that was a solution that seemed to be acceptable, So what would you have as a solution to that, seeing that it was about women can barely get there in the first place? So let's just create a space where only women should vie. Of course, based on other than gender, merit now has to be
value. The value they bring to the table.
So would you have parliament would have continued without mandatory representation
I think,
of women?
If we want a progressive nation, anything, if you want anything, either relationship, let's look at the value.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are not here to just represent or have people sitting in places.
Yes.
We are here to grow a certain society or to grow a certain system.
Yeah.
Or to see value on the ground.
Do the men in parliament give the value that we want to see? Because I think we are and I get very frustrated. Let me just say this as a disclaimer. I get very frustrated with the women in parliament. Extremely frustrated. However, I think we are extra hard on these women. I know it's because we have advocated for them more, so there is a spotlight.
Yeah.
But are they not just a fair representation of how terrible society is? Because the men in parliament have not done better. In fact, they have done worse. It's just that now we notice the women a lot because tuliwatetea.
I think, you see, in evolution of man, you will see that a society is a sum total of the people in that society.
True.
If you put a leader somewhere, like ukichagua president,
yes,
that person is a fair
representation
mirror
of our society. That is sad, but true. I was telling our producer as we were sharing about Ngugi wa Thiong'o hapa, both of this Daily Nation, front page, hapo utaingia uone page zenye wanaongelelea mzee Ngugi wa Thiong'o, as well as the Standard. And something that stood out to me is that when he came back to Kenya in 2004, they raped his wife.
Who?
Yeah. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, Njeri, they raped his wife. You know how our country treats freedom fighters and activists.
All right, I understand.
And I was asking, is it really the politicians who are broken, or is it just Kenya? Because Kenyans,
the society is broken.
How do we treat anyone, our celebrities, our artists,
from the ground?
So, because we think the politicians are the ones who are broken. And I was asking her, so where do they come from? Are they being exported? Are they from Europe? Are they from America?
It is the programming there.
So society is broken.
Yeah. That's why I was saying we need to overcome the programming.
Yeah.
Because the programming is up to the standard of the society itself.
True.
You cannot go beyond that standard.
How much has been accepted?
You as a person,
Yeah.
you can come out of it.
Yeah.
You can live different in a program society.
You have to become a rebel. It's hard work. It's not easy. I
not
don't think
rebel.
It's easy.
You have to become exceptional. Like you have a different mindset.
Right.
Yes.
Which society would see as a rebel?
Yeah, they will fight. They will fight you.
Imagine Wangari Maathai was a rebel.
Yes.
Nelson Mandela was a rebel. In fact, all freedom fighters by their nations were considered rebels.
Yeah, because your ideals are different from
they're opposing the powers that be, the status quo.
Or the minds of many.
I hear that.
Yeah, the mindset in that society.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think if we look at our leaders,
yes,
they are just a mirror of our society.
Don't
worry about what they do.
Yeah.
They do that because that is how they were brought up in this society.
Isn't that scary to see? It is scary. Kenyans, that is what we raise. Whenever we see somebody with power, that is what we are doing. Currently, right now, mimi kama common mwananchi, wewe kama common mwananchi, the people...
That's what we are doing on the ground.
That's what we are doing. Do you think that we're ready to accept that as a nation?
Accept what?
To accept that we are raising, we are the problem and not just the politicians.
If you are a responsible person, you will accept the responsibility in all aspects. Like if you are going through something, you cannot blame something else.
Yeah.
You have to come back to you.
Yeah.
Because everything happens within your consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah. Like if a society is behaving in a certain way, it is the consciousness of that society.
It is a collective conscience.
Collective.
Then I think we have become unconscious. I think our conscience has become dulled as a nation because we are very delusional about where these bad people come from.
It is the program.
We produce them.
Our program is producing bad people.
Yes.
And then now we blame the people.
Yes.
Yet they grew with us.
From? And we allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually allow it.
So corruption, whatever they do, it's because of the society.
Yes, and how many people did I go to school with who said they want to become parliamentarians so that they can become rich?
Yeah, just that.
That is a common kama ni mimi pia mimi ningeiba. How many times have you had somebody
So you see, the problem is not the politician now.
It is our mindset.
Yeah, even you, when you go there, you will do the same.
So it's just a matter of time.
It is the program.
Yes.
Unless someone goes there having a different mindset.
Yeah.
Like you see the way Matiang'i used to handle things.
Yes.
That was a different mindset.
Very different.
Yeah, coming out of the program.
Yes.
Like opposing the program.
Yes.
We want people like that. Like they oppose the society's programming.
Yes.
They do things differently. Either anyone wants it or not. We have to do it this way.